Hey y'all. So I finally finished these Christmas journals that I've been working on for a while now. And I actually started them. I think I started pulling out my Christmas stuff in like September. And it just, life just got in the way this year. I didn't get them finished as soon as I'd wanted to, but they're done now. And if anybody is still interested in purchasing a Christmas journal this year or for next year, these will be in the shop. I've still got to do the listings, so they're not in the shop right now, but I'm going to put them in the shop tomorrow, which is Monday, at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So if you're interested, that's when they will become available. So I have one craft text cover journal that is very similar to the last series I did with the children's books, with the children book images. And then I have two little golden books and two minis. So I'm going to go through the larger ones first. Grab a snack. It's going to be a long video. I'm just going to do one video and then try to go ahead and get pictures taken and work on the listings before I run out of light today. And anyway, I've got some other projects I need to get done as well. So, and then I do have one that's already spoken for that I think I'm just going to do a separate video on that after I finish this one. And yeah, so anyway, so I'm going to move the little minis out of the way. I'm going to do them last. So if you're interested in the minis, go towards the end of the video. And then I'm going to do these after I do this one. I'm going to do this one first. So this is the same size as the other one. So it's like 7 and a quarter. No, not quite a quarter, like 7 and an eighth by. So you could just say 7 by 9, pretty much. And then I did the scrappy ties, which I always love to do. It's just a great way to use up. I know I do these on most of my journals now, but it's just a great way to use up all these little scraps of fabric and bits and pieces. So it's a super long tie. I did do the ties long this year, so you don't have to use it that way. You can cut them up as usual. So here's the charm. It's got vintage buttons, and there's a Christmas tree and some peppermint beads. Just really fun Christmassy stuff. This one is removable. The other ones that I did on the little golden books are not. Okay, so I have not counted the pages in here. I'm going to try to go sort of quick. There's a bunch of goodies in here. In each one, there's a little... Wow. That's what happens when I try to rush, y'all. So there's this little canvas bag with a Christmas tree, a printable, a couple of printables, one of my little gingerbread men. He is not complete, so you can add his buttons, make him a tag. I thought I would just leave that so you could play with it. And then this is a really cool image from a Christmas treasury little golden book that I did take apart, and using some of the images. I didn't use many this year. I used a Frosty, but made a tag. And there's a tag in the other one that's already spoken for. It's different. So there's scrapbook paper, there's vintage music paper, there's pockets. I'm not going to pull out every little tag. There's wrapping paper. Get back in frame here. I did have a couple of pages left from that really cool Cookies for Santa book that Chastity sent me. There's a page or two in here, and then in the other one, here's one of my little snowman tags that I painted. There's vellum. There's some embossed. I embossed some white paper with snowflakes. This is from a big Richard Scarry book, and it's this one is Christmas, Thanksgiving sort of stuff. Some Renee's tea-dyed paper. I put buttons, vintage buttons in each signature. This one actually has, this is the mother of pearl button. It's really pretty. I really love using my buttons. And then most of these out here, these are vintage buttons as well. So, yeah, they're all vintage. But this one I think is super old. I just clipped a page from another little golden book in here. It's another pocket. In here, this is a printable from KB and Friends. And then I picked these up. I actually picked these up last weekend at my favorite store, Susanna's. I just think they're so cool. Super old Christmas cards. So they did the photo thing back in the day, but I think you had to have a little bit of money to do that back then. Probably not as economical as it is now, but I put one of these in each of these books. I can't remember if I put them in the little, I may have put it in the little golden books too. And then this is from an old vintage calendar, but I just thought that was really cool. I thought I would share some of those. One of my little vintage flashcard embellishments. I just stapled a little keep this coupon tab here. There's one of my paper clips. And I haven't made the paper clips. I had these from last year and I ran out. So I've got to make 2 more for the minis, but I am going to make those, but you won't see those in this video. And then I just clipped, put some guest checks in here and a little coin envelope, some snowflakes, and a little journaling card from Christmas by Bar book. This is some of that really cool sort of vellum graph paper, some vintage wallpaper, vintage Christmas card. I found these when I was cleaning out my dad's closet. These were my mom's. So they're at least 20 years old, I know. But she had a box. There was a box of them within a big box. So I put one of these cards in each journal. There are Project Life pages in here with printables and some stuff from paper lines. This came from a vintage Christmas book. And it's actually, you can tuck things in here because it's just one signature page folded over. I took these little cards. I think these came from, this came from a paper line that's similar to, I think it's Cartabella. Anyway, and I did a ruffle and put a little bead here. So this is a tuck spot pocket. There's a vintage bingo card in here. There is a printable from KB and Friends. More vintage music. This came from this really cool old book that Chastity sent me a long time ago, and I've been hoarding it. I've just been hoarding it because I loved it. I think it's called Carrie's Kittens. But I finally decided to use some of it this year. I've used some of it, I think, in my journals, but I'm sharing some of it. I just love the coloring and the images and the kittens. It's so cute. And yeah, the little kitty Christmas. Another pocket with some more journaling cards. Stuck another vintage flashcard in here. I just made a little tab out of some little circles. That's vintage wallpaper that I got from Shelly at Crafty Mama's. So that's the end of the second signature and the third signature. This came from a vintage Christmas book with calendar December and then like gifts and Christmas cards and stuff like that. Some more tea-dyed paper. This is like a transfer, vintage transfers that Jessica sent me. Jessica Rapp sent me these. I think they're so cool. And then this came from a book. It was like and I have it over there. I'll have to show you. I'll have to show you later. But I use these in those other books I did. I think I did. Anyway, so it has like a coupon image or something right there. It's like a planner. It's like an old planner. And it had these really cool, it was bound. You know, it had a comb binding, and it had these really cool, places to write things. I had to cut them down a little bit, and pockets. And I just covered it up with a journaling card, stitched that, and then glued it on. And then you have that whole space, to use. I still leave, I like to embellish, and I know if you're new to my channel, I like to embellish, and I like to give you a lot of things to use, but I don't like to over embellish. I really like to give you a lot of space to make it your own, but then give you a lot of things to play with. So this is a page from a big little golden book, Seasons. I love this. This would have been really cute on the front of a journal, but I also wanted to use the page. This is another little golden book page that I stitched in from, I think it's called Santa's Surprise Book. Another pocket, more little fun stuff. There are some little tags and things from a Prima collection of Frank Garcia paper line that I purchased this year. This came from another paper line. I put some fabric washi on the edge of the little Project Life pages. Some of them that had that little edge on it where you actually put it in a book. Did a slide page. Well, it's not a slide page. It's a 2x2 Project Life pocket that I picked up from scrapbook.com when they were on sale. I think I told y'all that in the last video. So I put a bunch of little goodies in here for you to use if you purchase this journal. You don't have to use it this way. You can put little pictures. You can use those for tabs and whatever else you want to do. This is another KB and Friends printable that I just stitched around it and then glued it here. And then put a couple of other of her printables that you can cut out. I fussy cut these out for whoever gets the journal to use those. And that's the end of the third signature. Fourth signature, more vellum, more scrapbook paper, more vintage music. This is some mixed media paper that I actually have this little Christmas tree stamp. I stamped this paper, made this paper, and then I just put a pocket on this side. And then this is a printable from KB and Friends too that I printed on some off-white cardstock and folded it over so you could actually make you another little journal out of it. It's like a book cover printable, or you could just use it for a photo, photo with Santa. Another Project Life page with this one has one of my little handmade journaling cards. Just some other little things clipped in here, more vintage wallpaper, more vintage buttons. This is a card that I stamped. Didn't completely finish it. I think it's cute like it is, but you could actually add other things to it, add a sentiment, put some little, drop some little paint on it, do whatever. Have your kid, decorate the rest of the tree, or you can do that. Just other printable things here. Some more stuff tucked in there, little inventory tag. So that's the end of the fourth signature. So this is the fifth signature. I just clipped in a little embellishment that I made and stuck a little journaling card from one of the paper collections that I bought. These are nice journaling cards. Happy folks are sending greeting cards to those they love to greet. And then this is just one of my little embellishments. Just clip that in there. I put a little fabric flip here of this fabric that I have really yet to use a lot of. I still have some, but I love it. It was an old tablecloth I found at my favorite store. And then I altered a file folder. I folded it over, and then I added a vintage Frosty. This is a super old Frosty, the Snowman book. And added, just added some little things to it and made it into a page, like a signature in the book. So you got plenty of space on this side. Here's a vintage Christmas card I just clipped in. This is like a resume paper, scrapbook paper. There's one of the old Joey DeFee pockets that I made, and there's a bunch of extra things stuck in there. I'm not going to drag all that out. That'll be a surprise if you purchase the journal. More vintage buttons. Here is a little, I had this ribbon that I really liked. I got it on a gift from someone last year. And I saved it, and I just made a washi. I made a piece of fabric washi tape out of it. But I figured I'd let you decide where you wanted to use it. And I just clipped it in. Other side of the file folder. Another page from, I think this was from Santa's Toy Shop, a golden book. And then there's more goodies back here in this pocket. And I clipped on a bunch of little fabric pieces that you can go back and use as fabric tabs in the book. Okay, so that's the back. As you can see, it is stuffed. It's stuffed pretty full in there with a lot of extra goodies, but you take all the extra stuff out while you're working in it and add your things in, you've got a lot of room to grow. So that is the Craftex cover one. And this image came from a little golden book called Christmas Carol. This image and the other two images that are on the minis came from that particular book if you're interested in knowing where that came from. Okay, so then we have a little golden book, my Christmas book. And here's the tie for this one. The ties are similar. They're not identical, but they have, you know, similar, sort of same fabrics. I'm not sure that all of them have the ticking on it. I used the blue ticking because these books had some blue in them. So, but there's a, you know, that's the huge tie. And then here's the charm. So the charm has one of my handmade stars. There's a little snowman. There's a light bulb. There's beads. There's a gingerbread man. There's another snowman charm, a Christmas charm, a glass mitten bead. This snowman is glass. Vintage buttons. That's also a mother of pearl button. So really, really fun charms this year. I just move up like that. And so these two golden books, I used the golden book spine. So they're 6 3/4 across. So I made it so that it's, you know, you got more room on the edge. It doesn't come straight up to the edge. But I didn't, like, I still cut down the pages and stitched the pages in. So you have room over here. To me, it gives you a lot more room over here to add all your little fun things to stick out, you know, on the side. Anyway, so this one has 5 signatures as well. I didn't count the pages. I think there's approximately there's about the same amount of pages in every one of these. This book is from 1950. These pages are they're not super fragile, but if you go bending them, I'm not sure that they won't you know, crumble a little bit, so take care with it. I did put a little bit of washi up here and here because the edges were kind of ratty right there on this particular page. But the whole book is in here. And then the pages are stitched to the front and the back of each signature so that you can read the book still. This is that Prima paper that I really like. It brings a little bit of pink in the mix. Vintage music, just cardstock. I also did, I did one of these in all of the larger journals with the little card and the ruffle, and I put a little bead on here. And then this is just a little, it's actually 2 little journaling cards. You can cut it or you can use it this way from the Prima collection. This is from a Ideals book, Santa's Helpers. Here is your vintage Christmas card in here. Here's one of the little stamped cards that I made and another journaling card. I'm trying to go sort of quick, guys, so that, okay, so you can see these pages are fragile. So just, you know, you could take washi tape or Scotch tape or whatever you want to kind of reinforce those. But just be careful with them. Here's a little flashcard embellishment that I made, the snowflake embossed paper. This came from that other Christmas book. And then in the middle of this signature, there's pockets, buttons, more journaling cards. I love this paper with the little birds and the hearts. I think it's so cute. Plenty of space to do your own thing. Here's another little embellishment that I just clipped in and stuck some little cards behind her. Those are printables. More of the book, which has their name. I bought this lot of golden books off of eBay, and I think it was definitely somebody's collection, and they were all, you know, old, but in really good shape. Other than they're just old, you know, just need to be careful with them. Here's another printable here. The little birds, and then the snowman from KB and Friends. And then I think I put, yeah, there's some other little extra things that I hand cut, fussy cut out for you, like die cuts from KB and Friends. And then in this particular signature, there's two other pages from the little golden book. So that's the way the other one is too. And the rest of them are on the outsides of the signature. So here I put a little Christmas tree button and a little vintage button. More pocket, more little journaling things. This is the paper that I stamped. I also put little berries on this one. Some of that really cool graph paper. Another vintage book page. Another one of those transfer sheets. The story. This is Christmas wrap. There's a little book library pocket with some little things tucked in, the little coin envelope. Here's the frosty page I used in here to make the file folder. It says a holly jolly holiday, and up here it says it's beginning to look a lot like Christmas. These were from different things. This label I actually stamped onto some vintage ledger, cut it out. Some stars, snowflake that I punched. The middle of this signature with this really cool vintage button, little green and blue. I love mixing the blue in, especially because, you know, just like, it's like icicles, you know, so blue and red, green, and all those colors go really well, in my opinion, together. And then a touch of pink. So here's the little paper clip in the vintage Christmas card. That's the end of the fourth signature. This is the fifth signature. Here's the little snowman ribbon, washi. Some more of that other vintage book. More vellum. This was a really cool Christmas book that Jessica had sent me with different, it's like a little music book, but then it had different traditions for Christmas in it. I can't remember the date on it, but it was really cool. So that's from that book. More of the telegrams from KB and Friends. A little pocket that I made here out of, I had some vintage book pages from a book that Jessica sent me. And it was a really old Christmas book. And so the images and the writing on the front of it was like it's almost like a book of cards, kind of. That's the size it was anyway. I flipped it over because that just wasn't my style. So I just flipped it over and made some little pockets with scraps. And then the labels that I stamped on Vintage Ledger and some of KB and Friends stuff, and then stuck an old vintage flashcard in here. And in each one of these, I tried to include a flashcard that, you know, was either 1 to, you know, 20 or something like that for a day during the month of December. So you could use it that way if you wanted to. You don't have to use it, you know, literally. You can, you know, do it for something, use something else. But some more little vintage buttons, pockets here. The big pocket with a bunch of stuff in here. There's also a little bag and some vintage recipe pages with cookies and candy recipes on them. I'm just not pulling everything out. So that some things can be, you know, some things can be a little bit of a surprise if you purchase the journal. And then there's a little, this little bag in here has a bunch of little fabric, like the fabric swatch that I put in the back of the other book. This has the same fabric pieces in here and a couple other things stuck down in there. And then some tickets and a couple more journaling cards back here. So, and I signed it. I've got to sign the other one, so I signed it inside the cover like I usually do. So that is my little Christmas book. I really love this one. I believe, I'm trying to remember who illustrated. Yeah, Richard Scarry did the cover. So that's why I'm drawn to that. And then the back, actually, I did not like the covers. They were, you know, these books were old while they were in good shape. The covers were the ones that had the, you know, the book jacket pictures on them. And I just didn't like that, so I used some Christmas paper, and I put the book corners on the book. They really didn't need it, but just to, I think, add some extra security on the edges, because I covered it with paper, and I just think it finishes it off really well. But you can see it's stuffed, again, like the other one, but if you pull out all those extra goodies that you're going to use in there, you got plenty of space. Okay, so that's my Christmas book. And then this is Jingle Bells, which is another one of my favorites. So you got the tie. The tie with the same sort of fabrics. I hope I'm not going too fast, you guys. You can slow it down and pause stuff. So on this one, I have, you know, beads, wood beads, glass beads, a glass Santa, the vintage light bulb, a little Christmas tree, the peppermints. There's a glass stocking. There's a metal charm stocking. So that's the charm on this one. Really cute. I really like the way these turned out this year. I did take my time. So this one I did the same thing. I extended it, but I still cut the pages and sewed them in. And on the inside of this one, which is kind of unique, is it's kind of that pink color on the inside, which I think is cool. If you don't like that, you can always, you know, cover it up with something, but I think it's cool. So then, and these are pretty flexible too. The spine is flexible. I didn't show you that. I thought you could see that. So when you open it up to work in it, you know, it does lay flat. It's stuffed, but anyway. So Jingle Bells, and this one was 1964. These pages are in really good shape. They're a little bit thicker, and they're not quite as frail as the last one. So here's the little cutouts, little extra goodies in the envelope. I'm going to just kind of flip. You can see this one I did put a little jingle bell on because this said jingle. And then there's two little Prima cards here. Same stuff. Oh, a little blue there. Okay, yeah. Wallpaper. This is from the, this is also from the, oh good Lord, my mind's gone blank again. The Ideals book. Let me just try this again. You can just flip this up like that. This one is a Christmas scene here, and on the other side it had a really pretty image. That Prima paper, and then some more buttons. Yeah, see that from the Ideals? I thought about using that as the center as well, but I didn't. I didn't end up doing that. So that's the first signature. Here's the second signature. I love this book too because I love Richard Scarry's stuff. I love his illustrations. And they're, you know, singing the Jingle Bells song through the story. It's vellum. Here's a little tab or tuck. You can use as a tab or tuck spot. One of my little clusters. The little Christmas tree, and then there's a reindeer. On this paper, I did some little snowflake stamping, and I thought it went best with this particular book. So I was just playing around with some stamps and paper and stuff, and I feel a sneeze coming on, guys. Here's the envelope and Christmas card. So that's the third signature. Another Ideals book page with Santa in there. Here's the little flashcard embellishment. The other really cool Christmas book page. This was from a vintage music book. There's the vintage Christmas card. Pockets, buttons, more little journaling cards. The other side of the music. Look at the coloring on that. It's so pretty. So a ton of space. There's the little snowman washi. And this was called The Good Ship, The Merry Christmas. And then you can see the little bag of toys on this side. The paper clip. A little bead of paper clip, and then some more little journaling cards. One of the telegrams from KB and Friends, and this was from a paper collection, which I thought went really cute in here because it's reindeer sleigh rides. Here is the Frosty page that I used in here. It says Snow Much Fun. There's a label down here, little snowflake, and then this is a printable label from the graphics fair. I think they have some Avery labels in there. More pockets, more journaling. The snowflake embossed paper. Here is the big Joey DeFee pocket with a bunch of goodies stuffed in there. Another telegram. Another journaling card, and then here's the little pocket that I made for this one. It's got the vintage flashcard in there, and then that is the end with the Jingle Bells song on the back, and then the same sort of goodies here. Okay, so that is Jingle Bells. I think I'm starting to lose my light already. Let's see. Yeah, I knew this was going to be a long video. Let's see if this like helps or makes it worse. I don't know that really helps that much. I'm going to leave it like that. It's not dark yet. I think there's too much glare with the other. So I did 2 minis. Both of these images came from that same Christmas Carol book. They're both the same height and width. It's just this one is a bigger, this one's fatter, so it's got 5 signatures. And this one's a little bit thinner, so I just did 3 signatures in it. So there'll be a little bit different price point in the shop. And I just wrapped a fabric. I cut a strip of fabric from this. I love this star ribbon or fabric. I just made a tie out of it for both of those. And then here's the charm on here. I did the charm similar, just not quite as much on it. So you got like a little snowman. There's a glass Christmas tree, a glass heart. There's a little glass snowman on here. The little glass peppermints. Yeah, so just a little bit simpler, but still really cute. And then inside of this one has this really cool fabric with the Christmas ornaments on it. And then on the back, so this was made out of, this is probably a Pop-Tart box or some kind of packaging box. And I painted it like I did the craft text. I've made these before. And I put some gold, ink of gold in the, I think it's the gold color or the copper color around it. But I embossed with some snowflakes and then put this, not really coming up. It's really sort of a, it really turned out kind of cool. Kind of copper. Oh, there we go. You can see right there. So I did it on this one, and I did it on this one. I mean, it just didn't show through once I put the image on the front. See? Really turned out cool. And it shows up probably better on that darker green, but I wanted to do this sort of, it's really a blue with the colors of this image. I really love this image on this mini. And this came from that Christmas Carol little golden book. Anyway, I like that. So there's 5 signatures in here. I'm going to flip through kind of quick. Just sort of half size of what the other ones are like. Very flexible, you know, very flexible journals that you can, you know, you can put a lot in here. You could do more than, you know, you can do more than one Christmas in these. Anyway, so let me just flip. So there's pockets in here. There's things tucked in. There is a vintage Christmas card in here. There's also a vintage Christmas card tucked in the other one. Vintage buttons as well. Same sort of things, y'all. I'm just going to flip. This, I put a little flip in here. You can add little things here like a strip of paper and a little image, or just put a photo and a label. I'm just leaving that for you guys to do because I just hadn't had as much time to do as many embellishments as I like to do. I've just like had to stop. It's like, okay, I've just got to get these done. So another pocket. But I put a bunch of stuff in here. This is from that little book with the different things about Christmas in it. Folded it up so it's like a little tuck on both sides. Pocket. This was from a hymn little golden book, not the same one. This is real pretty paper here. I can't remember what line that was. I bought some other Christmas paper this year. I'm a sucker for Christmas paper. I don't know why. I'm a sucker for paper. So here's the other side of that. This is also a pocket. And I didn't stitch, what I did was I didn't stitch all the way up to the top so that you can actually put things in and out without having to fight here. And then this is some paper I recently found at Michael's, which I thought was really cool. I love this. I love this silver with the peppermints. Some more. I took 2 little bags and joined them together with some paper and stuck some things in there. Love this deer paper. This is that Prima paper. It's so cute. I didn't put anything on this side. Yeah, I'm trying to leave you some space. This particular one is empty. I'm going to try, if I can, to make some more of my little journaling cards. This I hinged 2 envelopes together, and there are little cutout goodies, like die cuts in each side. But anyway, I'm going to try to make some more of my little index card. There's some other little things in here. Okay. Embellishments to go in here if I have time today, or in the next, day or so. But I'm still trying to. This little tag back here. This was from a paper line. I thought this was really cool. North Pole Dry Goods. Handmade by irrepressible elves in the North Pole under the direct supervision of Santa Claus. Thought that was cute. This is a Felicity Jane paper, more vintage buttons, another pocket, time card, vintage paper. Here's a little swatch of fabric in this too with a little paper clip. And I clipped it to the rest of this. Didn't I? Yeah. Okay. I didn't mean to do that. Okay, so that is that one. And I don't think I gave you the dimensions. I'm gonna have to put that back there. So this is 6 by 5, and then the spine on this one is like 3 inches, right at 3 inches. So this is a chunky little baby here, okay? And then you can just slide this back over, or you can make another tie if you want to. I think there's room here to put an eyelet, and an eyelet if you want to tie something there. I really like just the ribbon around it. So that's that one. And then here is the last one. How are y'all doing out there? So here's the little charm on this one. Yeah, really cute. This came out really cute. Same tie. And then I love these 3 little girls right here. I think that's so cute. That's also another little golden book that's illustrated by Corinne Malvern. This has the red and white star fabric that I love. Which I love the ornament. I love the ornament paper too. I mean fabric too. Put some stuff in that little glassine. There's the same types of things in here. It's just in a different order. Things are not in exactly the same place. Really cute. Love the candy cane striped paper. I did put some things in both of the bags in there. There's the same amount of things in each one. I just didn't put them in the same place. So only this one does have still the same amount of stuff in it. It's just 3 signatures. It's just not as many pages. It's just a little bit smaller. So there's the little envelopes, and they have little die cuts in there that I cut out. More little buttons. Telegram. Here's the little flip up in here. Same kind of pockets here that I didn't stitch all the way down, so it's easier to get things in and out of those pockets. Other side, the envelope, it's got some other goodies in there. Keep moving all around. Anyway, I hope you guys like these. I'm really happy with how they turned out, even though I'm sort of late getting them out this year, and that's just, that's just the nature of the beast sometimes. So these, this particular, I think there's one in the other book too. The page that I used was like a side loading page. So what's really cool about this is you're not gonna have to fight to get this in and out. And then it just sort of tucks, right back in there. Once you put whatever you want in here, you can just staple it to keep it shut, or paper clip it or whatever. There's also one in the other book that's like that. It doesn't stand out to you until you start using the book. so you can see how this is. See how it opens here? But I just clip that there. And see, you don't have to fight to get that in and out. So once you decide what you're gonna have in there permanently, you can just tuck that back, staple it, glue it, and then, you know, or paper clip it, and it's good. That's called recycling. Here's the little tag I put in this one. Is cookies for Santa, a little gingerbread. And then I love this little image of this little girl praying. So yeah, there's your little fabric swatch there, clipped in with another pocket. And that is this little, what is this little gem? These are super fun. I like these little minis. So those are my journals, y'all. I actually made more. So this is 5 of them. I actually made 8, and one was already spoken. Well, a couple of them are already spoken for. So jingle bells, and one I've already delivered, so I didn't get a chance to do a video of that. There's a lady at work who's been wanting one for a while. There's that one. And there's this guy. Okay. So, these will all be in the shop tomorrow. Today's Sunday. So they will all be in the shop tomorrow, Monday, at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you like them. As always, let me know what you think. I appreciate all of you, my subbies who've been with me since the beginning, and my new subbies. Thank you all for all your love and support. And I hope everyone has a very Merry Christmas, Happy Holiday, whatever you celebrate. And I will be back because I'm going to do a flip through of the other order that I had, just so I'll have a record of it. Okay? Love you guys, and I'll see you soon. Bye.